Hello and welcome to Women's Biz Podcast. I'm Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global, and I invite you to get comfortable and listen in on candid conversations I have with fascinating women from around the globe. Business leaders, entrepreneurs, humanitarians, athletes, and a whole lot of regular people. Tune in as they let their guard down and open up on aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure success, and what they have learnt along the way. These conversations aim to inspire you to embrace opportunities and possibilities beyond the limits of your imagination. Reclaim your power, strength, and vulnerability. Stand in your truth and propel yourself towards the life you dream to live. Hello and welcome to our wonderful listeners today. Annie Gibbins here, and I am thrilled to have you join us. I'm also thrilled to introduce a fabulous guest to you today. Her name is Emma Hull, and she is an esteemed confidence coach. She's got expertise in leadership and mentoring, and it's been actually rolled out and left an incredible mark across diverse media landscapes. She's had a career that traverses television and radio, podcasts, magazine columns. I love talking all things media, as you know, everyone. So this is going to be a real fun conversation today because Emma's got such wealth in this area. So her journey reflects a real profound understanding in coaching successful individuals in blending practical tools with somatic practices. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. She draws from a whole background in corporate and government leadership and uses that to empower individuals to really take reins of their personal well-being. Such an honor to have you on the show today, Emma. Welcome.
Thank you, Annie. I'm delighted to join you.
It's fabulous to have you join us today. And I'd love you to share a little bit of context. I know COVID, like for many people, has been such a mammoth time. I know in the midst of the pandemic, you certainly went through a massive upheaval. And I know from people that I've coached around the world and other people that are sharing it's going, it's certainly been a huge time of change, not just because of the pandemic, but also in our personal lives, a bit of a time to take stock and make some big decisions. And you made some huge decisions. You left your marriage, you bid farewell to your job, you decided to create your business called Life Untethered. Oh my goodness, like, did you just have a total awakening in COVID, or what happened there?
Right. It is interesting how much we see that pattern of people having taken dramatic changes in their life, whether through choice or it being forced upon them through COVID. For me, I'd been, on a process of self-discovery and realizing that perhaps some things weren't really where I needed them to be in my life. And then things lined up to really universe to tell me, no, Emma, you need to make these changes. Like this marriage, I was basically selling myself out for what I thought was safety and security, but wasn't. And so that was the first step. There was leaving that marriage, moving to a whole different community, and starting to create my life for myself, really from the ground up. And it was through doing that I realized that I needed to change my career as well and create something that actually works for me and fulfills me, rather than being in a corporate grind that was making me sick and having breakdowns, which is, why do we do that to ourselves?
It's crazy, right? It's so crazy that we could do it. Sometimes people reflect back and we're in that stage for months, years, decades, and you go, oh my gosh, I just kept doing it because I just felt like change was too hard. But then COVID had that massive shift because I think we're already uncomfortable. It was kind of easier in a way to go, you know what, I'm already uncomfortable. How about I rip that Band-Aid off and start aligning myself to, where I am now. Sometimes did you find that, Emma, that you've actually shifted in who you have become, your evolution of self, professional and personal, so many things change over the seasons or the decades. And often we're a little bit sort of slow, actually quite slow is my belief, to act on changes that ultimately will really center us into being that person that we are proud of being, love being, have joy in being.
Yeah, we very rarely notice the changes in ourselves, even, if it might be weight gain until you pull that pair of jeans out of the back of the wardrobe and can't fit them. Like you don't notice those small changes in yourself of either improvement or decline in your personal development or your behaviors. And really, I teach all about confidence and having that confidence to actually step into a change and intentionally choose to take things on is what really enables us to transform our lives more quickly rather than just waiting for that gradual and things to happen. Yeah.
I'd love to tap into that topic. You are a confidence coach. So, when it comes to bolstering confidence in communication, what are the effective strategies or methods that people can adopt or learn to adopt if they haven't thought of them for a while or they're ready to make that next change but don't feel so sure of themselves?
Yeah, communicating confidently is a big one, right? Because we all want to be understood and to be heard, and sometimes that can be a real challenge. And I've got three steps that can really help you to start bolstering your confidence in communication. And one of those, like really the first one, is to actually slow down. You'll notice when people are nervous, they tend to talk quickly and they'll even move quickly. You'll see kind of jerky movements happening. And so the way that you can portray confidence and make people think that you're confident is by actually slowing down. And what you might notice is when you're talking, you find yourself saying or something like that. Notice when you do that and stop. And instead of saying that take a breath. And that
Mm.
helps to slow you down and helps you to stop and think about what you're actually going to say instead of word vomiting it out. So that slowing down your speech can really help you to sound more confident, slowing down your body movements as well. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to smile. When we're communicating with people, a genuine smile, not like a forced grimace. A genuine smile is inviting. As humans, we respond well to smiles. So if you're smiling, you're going to appear approachable and friendly. And so the people that you're communicating to are going to be listening more and paying more attention and more open to what you have to say. And a tip to help people to bring that genuine smile when you're probably in a nervous situation is to think about a time that makes you smile and thinking about maybe it's like walking on your favorite beach or cuddling with your dog. Just something that brings a nice natural smile to your face is a really good way to do that. And so then the third thing is to take up space with your body language. When we're nervous, we tend to, you'll see people kind of trying to almost hide. Whereas if you can bring yourself to sit up tall, stand up tall, that really helps to portray confidence as well. So if you can remember to do those three things, to slow down, to smile, and to take up space, that'll help you to seem more confident and you'll get that better response from your audience, which then will give you confidence and it becomes this beautiful perpetuating system.
Oh, great advice. I hope our listeners are writing those down. 3 easy tips, right? Slow down, smile, and take up space. Really start owning it rather than shying away. I love the practicalities of this conversation immediately. It's so handy because they are things that you can do straight away. Now, many of us, though, grapple with the dreaded imposter syndrome at some point. So, in your view, is imposter syndrome an inevitable part of success, or are there ways that you can navigate it in an easier way?
That's such a great question. I do think imposter syndrome is inevitable because imposter syndrome comes up when you're putting yourself into new situations. And so,
Mm,
if you want to be successful, you are going to be putting yourself into new situations
yeah.
all the time, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. The thing is, though, I actually don't see imposter syndrome as a bad thing. If
Mm,
you look at it instead as an assistant in a way. The imposter syndrome is pointing you towards the areas that you can work on. And
Mm.
so, what I guide my clients to do when they're dealing with imposter syndrome is write down a list of all of those thoughts that you're having about how you're not good enough. And just all of the nasty things that you're saying to yourself that you would never say to a friend. Get those
Yes.
out on paper, write those down, and then go through them one by one and like fact check them. Ask, is this actually true? Like, do I have any evidence to support this? And you'll probably find, like, I see you nodding, you're like, that half of them you're just going to throw away because you realize they have no
Yeah.
basis in fact whatsoever. And so that's really reassuring. And then the ones that you still think, oh, there's some truth there, like keep inquiring to get to what is really at the root of what's bothering you about it. I like to think of being like a curious toddler, and you keep saying, but why, but why, but why, until you really get down to it. And then if there is still some truth there in whatever that imposter message is, then that's where you can do the work. You can figure out, okay, well, I don't know, let's say, I had a client, she's a personal trainer, and when she was starting out, she didn't feel like she could charge clients when she hadn't taught any clients before. And so there was some truth in that. So we coached on, well, okay, how many clients do you need to have trained? How many sessions do you need to have run before you feel that you can charge? And she was like, I need to do 5. Okay. How are you going to go about teaching 5 free sessions? And then after that, you can start charging. So whatever that vulnerability is, that imposter syndrome is guiding you to do the work there. And then once you've figured out what the problem is, you can start solving to find a solution to implement to gain the skills or to change the circumstance. So really, imposter
Mm.
syndrome's your friend. It's just giving you a to-do list of personal development.
I totally agree with you. And others will be going, oh my gosh, serious ladies. But yes, it's other stages of my life or career. No, I'm like, I hope they don't find me out. Whereas now I actually, love to be in that position. You go, oh, hello, imposter syndrome. I'm aware of you. I see what you're doing. I'm listening to that narrative in my head. And then I'm also then asking myself, like you, I always ask myself why 4 times, because once you get to that 4th one, you'll get to that limiting belief, well, what if I fail, or what if this doesn't work? And then, well, why is that so bad? Will the world fall down, and things like that? And also
Yeah.
that other side of the things that you don't know, you actually need that to kick in to actually go, right, well, how am I going to approach this new learning curve, this new opportunity, in a way that I'm less likely to fall down. In fact, I should succeed. So I love your approach to that. I totally, totally agree.
I
And so
love the 4 whys. That's so great too. But I
the
think for both of us, like the key is to having that positive attitude, right? Mindset is so much of it. And if you choose to take that attitude that life is happening for you, not to you, then that
yes.
really you can turn everything around and look at, okay, like how is this for me? And it really changes everything in your life if you do that.
Oh, exactly. That one gold nugget, our listeners, will just shift everything for you. Why is this happening? Or take it as an opportunity to go, yep, even if it sucks, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to come out different, in a whole lot of good reasons. You just never know. Or you sit there and wallow in it, and that's never going to get you in a good position, which brings me to the whole topic of building resilience, right? We all know that resilience is key to overcoming setbacks. We all have setbacks of various descriptions. So how do you find that those you coach can enhance their resilience? Can you enhance your resilience, which is ultimately just bouncing back stronger from those opportunities that have been negative, that have been harmful, that have been hurtful in our lives?
Yeah, absolutely. And resilience, it comes up in so many different areas. one of my past careers was in emergency management. And so we talked a lot about resilience then. And so really, when I think about it for my clients, they're mostly dealing with it in the context of some sort of triggering event that's happened. And actually, I was coaching a client on this last week. And it was kind of, how do you deal with when you get a text message, some bad news just before you're about to go on stage? She's a performer. How do you deal with that? And she, so what you need to do is first, because sometimes you just have to deal with it in the moment and get on with life. And so the best thing that you can do, it's a somatic tool that you can use anywhere, anytime. Everyone always has access to this, and it's your breath. Now, I know when people say to you, just breathe, that you might kind of be like stressed out and think that's easy to say, but it actually does help.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is to focus on extending your exhale. So you're just going to pay attention to your breath. And if you can, count to 4 as you inhale and count to 6 as you exhale. And what that does is that helps to get your body out of that fight or flight that you've gotten into, because that's our natural reaction as humans when we're triggered by something, is to all of our system gets ready to attack or run and defend. And so what you do is by extending that breath, that stimulates your vagus nerve, which then calms you down. And so you can do that anytime. No one will even notice that you're doing it, but I promise you it will make a difference and bring you back from that stressed out position. And then once you actually have time to sit and process and deal with what's going on, I have this tool, it's called rage writing. And you're basically going to write a letter to the person or the situation that has caused you all this pain. And you unleash, you tell them everything that they've done, how they've hurt you, how they've made you mad. Let it out. And you're not going to send this. So you can cry on that piece of paper. You don't have to be able to read your writing. Get everything out. And then once you've done that, you need to go into the second part of the letter, which is where you start telling them, well, how would you have wanted this to play out differently? What did you want to happen instead? And that's you then shifting from that anger to then looking and reflecting perhaps how you might like to act differently in the future. But it's also understanding what your boundaries are and how you want to be treated, giving you clarity. And I believe as well in you're telling universe how you deserve to be treated. And then the final step, which is super important, don't skip this, is you need to administer some sort of self-care to yourself. So that might be cuddling your dog. I've got my little dog over there, or maybe it's having a cup of tea, going for a walk. You need to make sure that you do that right away, and that helps bring you back to a neutral place. And then this exercise, you'll find that right away it does have a positive impact. But stuff might come up again. Like we all ruminate on things that have happened 20 years ago. You can use this exercise for that. Each time it comes back up in your brain, do this exercise, and every time you'll find that the emotions are less intense and that you're able to get back to that neutral place quicker. And so you're training your body to be able to do that, but you're also getting rid of all this baggage that you're carrying around, and that helps you to be more resilient as well.
Oh, fantastic advice. I love the concept of that. One, because it's just so therapeutic, writing out all your thoughts and, being able to be totally real, because it's not going to get sent to anyone. It's going to either be chucked in a fire or ripped up or whatever. But also just the value of then not suppressing things. So it's so easy. Sometimes, that habit of going, oh, I don't want to deal with it, so I just suppress it. I'll wait till a better time. And that time often doesn't come, but it's always just sitting there underneath the surface. So you're actually training people to go, you know what, let's just bring it up, write it down, address it. And that's right. Every time you see it from a different angle, it loses its power until you just go, oh, I've dealt with that. It's just gone. And then frees you up, not only in your energy, but just so much time. It's not like a weight around your neck. Oh, so much that we could chat about in this topic. I wish we could talk all day, Emma, but I do want to ask you about decision making, because decision making really can be a daunting process. It puts us into overwhelm very easily. So what tips do you have that would help individuals, those of our listeners, people watching on, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, wherever you are coming to Women's Bits podcast, that actually helps us to make decisions more easily, more effectively, more efficiently? What's your advice on that topic?
Yeah, I love teaching my clients how to make decisions quickly and also confidently so that you aren't then second guessing yourself later. You know that I made the right decision for me. And I developed this tool that I call the confident decision maker to do that. And it's writing lists again. I love writing lists. And as you said, it's really cathartic to get stuff out. So for a decision, you're going to make a list of like, what are the must haves? Let's think about, we're coming into Christmas here, and like how to spend Christmas is a huge decision for a lot of people. So, what are the must haves for you for your Christmas or your holidays? What are the things that you really love that make it special for you? Make that list. And then you're going to make a list of the expendables, those things that you really don't want, that you want to get rid of. List out all of those things that you don't enjoy and you don't want and do not want to be part of your experience. And then your third list is your okay. And that's the things that you don't mind really either way, if they happen or don't happen, the things that you feel not very strongly about. And you look at those three lists, and then you can see, okay, well, which of the things on my must-have list am I not willing to compromise on? Must actually happen? Which of the things on my expendable list am I, these have to go. I am not going to go, and I'm not sleeping on that air mattress at my brother's house again this Christmas. I'm going to stay in a hotel if I go. So you're figuring out like what are the things that are important to you, and what are the things that you're willing to give in on. So maybe, you can use some of the things on that okay list as compromises. And you can do this for all kinds of decisions. Like one of my clients was deciding whether or not to sell her house or to rent it while she was waiting for a condo to be built. And so, she wrote a list of like, if I sell my house, did those three lists. They must have, the expendable, and the okay. If I rent my house out, again, writing those lists. So for each of the possible decisions in your scenario, you write out the three lists. And it helps you to get really clear on what is important to you and why. And then your decision is clear, but you also know for a fact that you have really thought this decision out. And so that's what then gives you that power that takes away that second guessing, because you know that this is the right decision for you, because it's what you want, what you need, and where you're willing to compromise.
Mm. It also gives you that clarity, doesn't it? When you then start second guessing yourself, you can close your eyes and you can see what you actually, rated on your bit of paper, on your list. You ranked it 1 to 5 and you wrote why and this and that. So although you kind of go, oh yeah, I did the list and it's kind of done, and then so be, often when it helps, because your mind will go, it's habit, it will go back to that thought. But every time you've done that, there's so much value in that. So those of you who are listening in going, oh my gosh, it's 2 more list lovers. My view is that you can't afford not to do a list, regular lists, even if it doesn't have to be color coordinated, highlighter pens, all of that sort of stuff. It's just writing it down and thinking, okay, I'm in this situation. How am I going to rank it, and for what reasons? Ask yourself maybe the 4 whys, and also just brainstorm what's. I often think too of, well, what are 2 or 3 other ways someone else might approach it, and then you actually start looking at from different perspectives. So it starts training you in a broader way. The more you do that sort of concept.
Oh, that's so great. I like that, thinking about how other people might do it too. And for those people who are shaking their heads at the lists, when you carry all this stuff around in your head, whether it's decisions or you're trying to remember your grocery list. That is taking up space. It's like a computer with, the CPU being used up. You're using your valuable energy to keep whatever this thought is you're ruminating on, this decision, in your head. Whereas when you write it down, you get it on that piece of paper, you free up space to be able to get on with your life. So it is going to give you more time. Spend that time, write that list, and you will gain so much time and energy from it.
Exactly. Picture of yourself just decluttering a couple of terabytes of unnecessary thought processes, time wasting, energy zapping, oxygen thieving, experiences in your day to day. And I tell you what, you just go, oh gosh, I feel like I do. I love thinking in that computer thought. So for those people who are maybe at where you were back at the beginning of COVID and they feel lost and disconnected from their purpose or their passion or where they should be, it's huge. So although we can look back and go, oh yeah, I'm so glad I did it, and now I'm in a different place. What steps could you give them? Some practical recommendations to help them just get a little sense of direction and enthusiasm towards where they could be heading?
Yeah, it can be so hard. And we all find ourselves stuck in a rut at some point, whether that's in work, in a relationship, or maybe just in your, personal life, your hobbies. So don't beat yourself up if you are in a rut. Know that it's completely normal. But it also, once you start feeling frustrated in one area, it starts spreading and you start feeling frustrated in other areas. The thing is, though, that works in the opposite too. Once you start finding passion and purpose in one area, it'll help you find passion and purpose in the other areas. And one of the easiest things for us to control is our hobbies and what we choose to do with our leisure time. So really getting reconnected to finding passion and purpose in your hobbies is a really fun way to light up and re-energize your life. And what I love doing, the internet has been amazing. And thank you, COVID. So much stuff is online now, right? That wasn't. So we have access to many more things than we could. So go online, like go on Facebook and look at Facebook events, or go on Eventbrite or something like that, or even go to your local community center and see what activities there are. And look through and read the descriptions and just see which ones excite you, which ones give you that kind of little frisson. And notice, do I like doing solo activities, or am I excited by being in a group? Do I like competitive things, or am I an active person, or is it more quiet and creative? And just notice those kind of things that excite you. And then find something that fits as many of those things that really get you going, and try it. Just try it. Try different things. And then keep trying until you find the one that really makes you feel great. And that will help you. It'll lift your spirits, and it'll spread over into so many parts of your life. And I haven't tried this yet myself, but a lot of people here in Canada are obsessed with pickleball. Have you tried pickleball?
I haven't even heard of pickleball.
Oh my goodness. So, yeah, apparently, people are just finding this incredible community and passion through this sport that's new that I hadn't even heard of. So, you don't know what's out there until you start looking. And so get out there, look and see, Google pickleball and see if maybe that's what you want to try. Find things that excite you and find a way to do them. You can
Mm,
always, if you're telling yourself, oh, I don't have time for a new hobby, there you can find time. There's
mhm.
always something that you can strike off your list. You can find a way to create time to do something that lifts you up, because it is so important to do stuff for you, because
Mm.
otherwise you'll just keep getting further and further into that rut.
Exactly. Fantastic advice. You can't afford not to. We've all got 24 hours in a day, and it's how you use it. And we've all prioritized that on ultimately you do what you love, or you do what you have habitually done and allowed. You've accepted that in your situation. So I think there's an element of I'm not going to accept this anymore. And when I don't accept it, is then suddenly going to free up a rejigging of the way you spend your time, energy, money, moving forward. And so that's such great advice. I love the way you've approached that from a personal perspective and from a hobby perspective, because before people do big, bold things, it's about becoming happier in yourself, right? It's almost like that
Mm.
childlike approach. I remember when I was raising my kids, it's kind of like just find something that sparks joy in you. So you'll have the
Yeah.
term of clarinet, and that's a disaster. And then you'll try the flute, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then suddenly they'll find taekwondo or dance class, or something will happen and they'll just suddenly come alive. And you go, sometimes it's trial and error. You might go, oh, look, I've always wanted to do it. I've self-sacrificed, and now I finally want to pick up the guitar, or your special sport in Canada. Or it might actually be, you know what, I don't even know, but I'll go and try a few things. Like, have some fun along the way. It is a journey of self-discovery, and my view is that you're never too old for that. Seriously, even if you're in 60s, 70s, 80s, you can just go, you know what, my future starts today, and I'm gonna try some things. And I tell you what, Emma, don't you just meet a whole lot of interesting people along the way?
That is exactly what I was about to say as well. You don't know who you will meet, you know. I started a book club because I wanted to be part of a book club, and there wasn't one that had space. And so you get
That's
to, connect with different people through that. And then maybe that person shares a different hobby and you get to go and explore that together. You want like variety is the spice of life, right? Don't keep doing the same old thing. It's boring. You're going to get bored. Go out, have some fun, try some different things. It's good to stretch your comfort zone as well. So good for you.
So good. And I tell you what, you learn to have a giggle at yourself, because it's really funny when you're not naturally good at something. We tend to, we like to feel more confident or empowered. So we do things that we know we're relatively good at, or we start trying to perfect certain things. And when you try something that you seriously like, pick up golf and start chasing that little ball around the around the course, you just go, oh my gosh. But you can have a laugh, you can meet new people, find that energy in yourself, start taking life a little bit less seriously. And in this journey, in this next journey, will come the big concepts. The where am I at in my relationships? Where am I at in my career? What do I want for my future? That's more likely to come out once you've started to just relax and to start enjoying yourself more, than to think that next change is going to change everything, because ultimately
Yeah.
you're going to bring yourself to that new experience. So I'm a big believer, Emma, on getting yourself sort of stronger right at the beginning, which brings me to those listeners who are wanting to connect with you. For those of you watching on, you've seen that Emma's website is lifeuntethered.com. And those of you listening will want to know that. So what are they going to find when they go to lifeuntethered.com, and what can you offer them today?
Yeah, well, actually, right now I have a free masterclass that's taking place. And so you can sign up for that. I'm going to teach you 3 strategies that I guarantee will help you to achieve your dreams, to make 2024 your boldest year yet. So if you want to head to my website and sign up, go to masterclass, and you can register to attend live, and you'll get access to the replay as well.
Cool, cool, cool. Free masterclass. Who doesn't want that to start the year? In fact, get there ahead of time so you're all ready to go. I love that. And I love the flexibility. And once again, thanks to COVID, that we can be anywhere in the world, and we can now be tapping into things live or just watch the replay. I know most people actually watch all of my material, my TV show, podcast, summits on replay, because, that's, I actually encourage it. You want to do it in your own time when it works your schedule. And so definitely take up that opportunity. I think it's really going to help you a lot. And as you can hear from Emma today, she has just got so much calm, confidence, top tips, easy points. I love it when I have a guest come on and go, oh, well, this is my 3 tips for this, and this is 3 tips for that. And you can apply them today. So thank you to our listeners. If you've got special questions, I want you to pop them in your chat. It doesn't matter what platform you are watching on, whether it's Spotify, Google Play, or if you're more on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever that is, just pop your question in the chat. I will find that and Emma will find that. We will respond to you as soon as possible because we want to help you on your way. So don't be shy on that. No question is a silly question, believe me, because I'm sure I've asked all of them. And I'm sure Emma has as well. So it's been great having you all join us today. And most importantly, thank you, Emma. Thanks for joining. I've really loved our conversation.
It's been delightful. Thank you, Annie.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Women's Biz Podcast. I'm Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global. And if you would like to fast track your future success, pop on over to womensbizglobal.com, where you can find out how our coaching, media and publishing opportunities are helping women just like you to become and be seen as the trusted authorities in their niche. Inquire today and start reining in the abundance you desire.